Hi, SOC101. This is Dr. Naffziger-Hirsch. As I said, you can call me Dr. Naff. As promised, I had said I would make you a quick video to help you learn your way around our course and the various tools we're using. I want to apologize in advance that I'm with my son, and he is very talkative, as much as a 9-month-old can be, so you're going to hear lots of baby noises in the background. Okay, so I showed you in class how to get into D2L, which is our course site. Everybody should know that. So you, on the Oakton page, click on My Oakton, which is what I just did. Log in, which I know you need to do to pay your bill. And then you're going to click on My Courses. And then you're going to click on this Click Here Too. And then you're going to find our class. And you're not going to have so many intro to socias. If you do, there's probably a really good story there. But this is us. Once you click on it, this is what you're going to see. Right now it thinks I'm an instructor, so let me view it as a student. Okay, so as a reminder, each week when you're starting the week, you're going to click on Content. And then under weekly modules, for any particular week, you're always going to start with the week overview. And once you click on that, it lays out exactly what you're doing for the week. So there's a lot on here for this week because there is a lot you're doing to get set up in the course. But don't worry, as I showed you in class, it's not always quite so complex. For any week where you have discussion posts, you can get to them a few ways, either through this Discussions tab, and then you can scroll down. So here is discussions you're doing for this week, and there are discussions here that you're doing. Or from that, under the we clicked on Content, and under here under Weekly Modules, under the week that we're on, you can see that there are discussions. These little bubbles represent discussions. The other things that I'm asking you to do for the week, you can also get to them from this page. So I'm asking you to fill out a survey just with some questions about you. You can do that through here. One trick to help you get through the items for the week is you can click on this arrow and it'll take you to the next thing. So here are your introduction discussions, which a number of you have been doing. That's terrific. They're actually due tonight, Thursday at 11:59 p.m. Your original posts, which means your response to my question. And then on the Monday of every week, you're going to have responses to each other due. Once you're done with that, you can click onto the next item with this arrow key. And that's going to take you to the next thing on the list, which in this case is the weekly modules that you're reading. So remember, we're only meeting half the time in person and half the time online. So some of what we would be covering in person, you're doing on your own online so that you have more flexibility with your time. So that's what this is all about. When you're done with that, you can move on to the next thing, which is our next module. When you're done with that, you have discussions. Now notice this down here. As I said in class, you're never going to see other people's responses until you post your own. That's not trying to trick you or anything. I just want to hear your thoughts. For any week's discussions, I wanted you to see here the weekly discussion posts rubric. You can expand it. That's going to show you how I'm grading you, both on the quality, the quantity, and then the timing. So here you'll see that your original post is due Thursday at 11:59. You will not get all your possible points if you're posting everything on Monday. You'll still get partial credit, but you won't get all of the credit. Okay. So Dropbox, this is where you're going to hand in any papers. We'll talk about that more later, but as it says in the syllabus, I do not take papers over email, so you're going to have to hand your papers in through Dropbox. When you're uploading a paper, I'm always going to ask you to cut and paste the content of your paper here into this comments field. It's for your help. That's in case for some reason I can't open your file. That way you get credit for turning it in. I can tell you the story of why I do it. Another student influenced this. I'll tell you about it later. I'll save you the time now. So you'll cut and paste the text of your paper here, and then you'll hit submit. Quizzes and exams. Right now, this is where your syllabus quiz is. That's what's due by Monday at 11:59 p.m. You must get 100% on it, but you can take it as many times as you want. At any point in the semester, you can see how you're doing in terms of grades by clicking here. I will do my best to keep this as updated as possible. Checklist. This is your tool to stay on top of everything that's due. So the introduction survey in D2L I showed you a few moments ago. If you've taken it, you can click there, you can save it, and then when you come back later, you'll know that you've already done it. If you want to email any students in the class, you can email them through this class list. So if you want to email Michael, you would literally click on his name and a message will pop up and you can email him through D2L. We're not going to use the groups feature just yet. And here under surveys is where you could access surveys if you wanted to, or if you wanted to view that discussions rubric, you could do it through rubrics here. D2L is choosing to freeze. Oh, pardon me. Okay, so all right, what else? Registering for my Social Lab. I had promised you that instructions would be on D2L, and they are. So as a reminder, you are getting to D2L here, or you're getting to my Social Lab here through content. And then under this My Social Lab tab, this is where you're going to go to the My Social Lab course home, and here are the instructions for how you're going to do it. The instructions are in a PDF and Word version, so you can use either one. And actually, you're best if you download the file, because then you'll see these images. You won't see them if you just have it display on the screen. So to download the file, you see here this little arrow. Go ahead and download the file, and then you'll be able to see those instructions. For, let's see, any week where you have a My Social Lab assignment due, you are always going to get to it through the My Social Lab assignment calendar. So here under the weekly overview, you're always going to see something like this, the My Social Lab assignment calendar. And while it's going to load, it should remember me. It possibly won't, in which case that's just because I'm viewing it as a student and there is no student account for me. But once you've registered, you'll be able to see this, and I can show you what that's going to look like. My son has decided he wants to help teach this. So these are all these little grunting noises that you're hearing. So I'm going to go ahead and go straight to the My Social Lab site for this to show you what it would look like if I were a real student. You can get to it through mysociallab.com. Once you've made your account, you'll be able to sign in. I'm already signed in. You will see your classes. I have a lot of them, but this is us. And assignment calendar is what you would click on. And then note, for any week where there's something due, it's going to have Sunday's date on the calendar. There's going to be a little clock icon. So this week you are doing two things for our next class. You are reading the article The Promise by C. Wright Mills and taking a quiz, and you're completing the browser tune-up. So you'll do that by clicking on this clock icon on Sunday, February 1. Now I want you to note something. If you did not sync your time zone yet, which you'll see instructions for that at the back of the syllabus, then what's going to happen is this is going to show up on Monday because it's due at 11:59 p.m. but your 11:59 p.m. on Sunday. But if you haven't synced your time zone, it might think that you were on Eastern time, and so it's going to put it on the Monday date. So let me show you how to sync your time zone. You can do that back on the course homepage, and you would sync your time zone students, and there where it says Central Time, if yours doesn't say Central Time, you're going to need to choose that Central Time as an option. Okay. A big problem students often have with My Social Lab is that they don't have their pop-ups enabled for My Social Lab. So one of the reasons that I have you do the browser tune-up, which you probably remember you saw through the assignment calendar, here on the first, complete this browser tune-up, you need green arrows for all of these items in order for My Social Lab to work properly. So you'll see I need to download Adobe Acrobat Reader, I need to download Shockwave Player, etc., in order for this to work correctly. So each time you go to a new computer to use My Social Lab, you might need to rerun this in order for it to work correctly. Let's see. Let's look at the syllabus for just a moment. So you're going to have your checklist and your weekly overview in D2L. Those are ways that you'll always know what's due, but then you can also always know what's due from the syllabus. So for any particular week, this column shows you what's due for the next class. So this week is a little bit of an exception because you have something due. You have a bunch of things due after Monday's class and before next Monday's class. So this first cell here, sorry, that was my son. This first cell all the way down here is all what's due after class, and here are the items what's due before the next one. So by the time you come to class on February 2nd, you need to do all those things. For next week, it's going to be a little simpler. You need to do everything in this cell. So you need to read chapters 2 and 4. You need to read module 2, the research process part 1, module 2, the research process part 2. You need to listen to this audio clip in My Social Lab, take a short quiz on it. And then discussions, which you pretty much have discussions every week, even though they're not going to be listed here. Those you will be able to access in D2L. And remember, you're also going to have a weekly quiz in class at the start of class on the materials from the week. You can use your notes from the reading. You just can't use your book. And once the first person finishes and hands in their quiz, I won't hand out any more quizzes, if that makes sense. So if Joey comes in right at 11, hands it in at 11:10, and other students are still taking it, but you get there at 11:11, I won't give you your quiz out of fairness to everyone else who got their butts in gear and got there on time. I hope you'll realize and see that I aim really hard to be fair to all of you, and that underlies everything I do. Let's see, is there anything else about the syllabus? I think that we have hit the main points. There might be something else in there that I'm forgetting. If so, I'll post it as an announcement. But I realize it can be a little confusing to kind of find your way around a new course and a new website. And so please ask me questions as you have them. One thing I do want to say before we sign off is on our course homepage in D2L, you can always post questions by clicking here on discussions, and then post any questions you have about the course or D2L here. You can always email me, call me, come to office hours, or post a question here because somebody else might have the same question, and if you post it here, then everyone can see my response. You are on occasion going to find technical glitches. It's unavoidable in an online class, so this is a good spot to let me know. Such and such link didn't work, such and such, whatever, you get the point. The other thing I wanted to say is that on your course homepage, you're always going to see news. So you can get back to the course homepage through that button at the top, but I will always post news items here. And whenever I email the class, I will email your D2L account and your preferred email address that you have on file with Oakton, and I will post it here. You can also always get to our My Social Lab site here. And deadlines for what's due will show up here in the calendar. And then just a reminder that if you want to get text messages from me with reminders about important course deadlines, here is an announcement with instructions for that. You're basically just sending a text message to this number. You are putting this in the body of the text, and you are sending it, and then you're going to get a response, and then that'll be that. So, all right, I'm truly going to sign off now. It was so great to meet all of you. I'm really excited about the semester, and don't hesitate to let me know if you have questions. I will see you all online. Take care.